What's up everyone in the YouTube universe, this is Gameocide, and we have Oceanhorn, monster of Uncharted seas. There's a boy, his father's missing, you wake up, there's an old man, aka kinda your sensei, and he's like, hey, we gotta defeat this thing called Oceanhorn. So you seek vengeance and answers, you got a princess to save, you get the drift. Let's go into Oceanhorn.
Let's plant this together.
Alright, so we have to be perfectly honest right at the jump. Yes, this does look like Zelda Wind Waker and other Zelda games. It's definitely huge inspiration from the Zelda games, and sometimes a little bit rip-off-ish. But when it comes down to it, this is definitely not just a rip-off to a Zelda game, so let's take that aside. It's an adventure game, third-person and top-down, where you'll be collecting treasures, defeating enemies, and finding out mysteries going throughout the game. This game obviously has a main story, but there's also a few side quests every here and there, and you'll find bottles with messages in it to get them. You'll be running through different islands, cutting through plants and bushes for coins and equipment. You have bombs that you can use to throw and blow up boxes, and arrows to hit targets, and your sword to hack slash, and also your power that can throw boulders on top of things. And what kind of boulder hurls 100 miles per hour from the sky and doesn't kill a bird? And you can take up activities like fishing if you really even care. After reading many messages through bottles and talking to townsfolk, eventually you'll see a bunch of more islands pop up on the screen that you can go sail to. Some of them are kind of a waste of your time, but some will actually reveal some cool stuff. But it has some problems here. Yeah, unfortunately there's no fast travel to each island. No, you have to go through a boating sequence where, one, you can't sail your own boat. It looks just like Zelda Wind Waker, and I just shoot this seed cannon at boxes and enemies. Yeah! Just kind of frustrating and a waste of time for the most part. You get an extra coin or two, but it's really a waste. And why is it always the same guy that goes by on the boat? He's just like, I have some candy in my front pocket. Some positives here. I really like the soundtrack. Soundtrack was really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't really play in the dungeons, and I wish it would play in the dungeons and outside, like two different themed tracks. And also the art style is really nice. Just how the things are very vibrant colors, and it's just a joy to look at. Unfortunately, when it comes to level design, it's like Zelda and Pokemon had a baby, but that baby had like 40 IQ points. The level design is very generic, and even though the game looks good, the level design's just not there, and it's same with the puzzles. Some puzzles are a lot better than others, but for the most part, it doesn't take that much brains to really solve any of these puzzles. It's right in front of your face. It's just like, hey, look at me! And you're like, oh, that's cool, I wish it was harder. Okay, and I don't understand this either. You can swim indoors, no problem. But when I go outside and swim, I die. What explorer can't swim? Oh, and only inside? Makes no sense. And like any game, there's of course boss battles, and some of the boss battles are definitely exciting. At least two of them are really cool, but for the most part, they're pretty generic. It's throw a bunch of bombs at them, they're almost dead, and then you slash them a few times with your sword, and boom, cutscene, and stuff like that. The game progresses pretty well. I just thought they needed more unique boss battles to go throughout the game. And let's be perfectly honest, I don't like the fact that this looks way too much like Zelda. I mean, including the sword and shield fighting, where you go into your shield and it follows the enemy you're fighting, throwing the bombs, arrows, every dungeon you go into, and sometimes even the level design. And let's be honest, just look at the HUD. You had the X, Y, B, and A, just like Wind Waker did, up in the top right corner, with the D-pad up there and the hearts to the left. So, don't get me wrong, I liked Oceanhorn from the start. I was really excited for it. It has a great charming style and a great soundtrack, and some things really appeal to me. But the problem is it just drags on at some parts. There's really not amazing amount of enemies, you have a cliche story, and a lot of their combat styles and things they do in this game have done before, and especially for many people say Zelda, and it's kind of a ripoff from it. This game's going to get a 6 out of 10 on Gameocide.